they had fun.
In fact, they were fighting over the food. You missed out a lot on that.
Charlie, political conference jollof is not like funeral jollof. Funeral jollof tops all.
Truth is, I haven't eaten political conference jollof before. I have eaten funeral jollof.
Yes.
I like the smoke part in it. There's smoke in the jollof now.
But you're not delegates. Allow the delegates to testify.
That's why I said that I haven't. And that only confirms that I've never been a delegate and I'm not a delegate. But the funeral jollof.
Funeral jollof,
the smoke in the jollof is the best part.
This jollof was a special one. It was carried in chariots. The only thing that was not used over the weekend was a chopper. Even that one, I'm sure Winston was the one who stopped the idea. So, Anyway, let's get into the details now.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's continue.
Okay, daily guide. Could you, why are you laughing?
Go.
Okay, anyway. Winston, you should have used the chariots now. Anyway, daily guide. I promise I will make fun of the issue again. Okay, NPP unites to rebuild after a successful conference. You can get the details, page 3 of the Daily Guide newspaper. Then London Mayor visits Garmanche. So it comes up with a picture of Sadiq Khan paying some homage to King Taki Teko True II. And then Ghana to roll out gold traceability system by 2026. And Mahama dissolves National Cathedral Board.
The London Mayor is on the front page of the Daily graphic with the Garmanche, and the caption says Accra London to chart mutual development path. Now on the NPP Delegates Conference, NPP expands Electoral College, voters increase from 220,000 to 280,000. Blekusu coastline secured. President Mahama launches protection project, and over the weekend he shared photos of this on his page on Facebook.
The overseer is talking about the kind of welcome the delegates, and some of the candidates received at the NPP conference. This one says Brian Achampon receives rousing welcome at NPP delegates conference. Winston, I was telling you about that. And then NPP aspirants accused Nanabi of busing non-delegates to chair Baumia at conference. So looks like the weekend was also another playground for the internal jostling within the new patriotic party. A show of might when you are coming, when you are arriving. Yes.
Because you have when we're doing the analysis, about 5,000 delegates.
Yes.
Now the whole University of Ghana stadium with the 10,000
was almost packed.
It was packed.
So where are the people from?
It was packed.
Yeah.
And there were people who were at other places. So you'd ask yourself, were all of them delegates?
No.
Certainly no. So not all of them were delegates.
Yeah.
Some of them were aides to delegates, whatever, supporters, facilitators, drivers, bodyguards.
Yes, and you could see some people as campaign team members of certain people who are not delegates,
campaign coordinators.
They all had tags to be there, and so it's
part of the politics, isn't it?
Yeah, but what is about our politics and
numbers
and not numbers, violence, and sometimes lack of common sense and patience. Like I watched, I honestly I didn't really follow this from start to end, but I saw videos of people trying to get into the stadium and the chaos at the entrance. What is it with this? And this one is like the same family, right?
Yes.
We are coming for a family meeting.
Or a meeting.
And there is chaos. We are shoving people away. We are hitting people here. What is it about our politics and chaos and...
Well, sometimes you want to get in and get your voice heard, even though you may not even be a delegate. And I'm sure that if they were to, sieve and identify other people who said yay, nay, some of them may not be delegates. But the point is that people really want to get in there. And sometimes they think, the belief is that if I don't show up quickly, I may not get a place to sit. Forgetting that they've actually made reserved seats for all who are delegates, especially. So the people some of whom you may see fighting are probably people who are not delegates. Of course, some delegates may also be there. But you ask, why are you in a hurry?
But there was security.
There was security there. When I got there,
like state security.
Yeah, when I got there, I saw
and there was party security.
Well, when I got there, when I got there, to be very honest, when I got there, what I saw. I went into the grounds. What I saw, it was the police where I passed was manned by the police.
Right.
And oh boy, you dare not.
Yeah, the security
where
was
I
really
passed,
tight. Yeah.
Where I passed,
Yeah.
Charlie, now if you see the policeman, he just use his head and give you signs. Use this route,
And you have to obey.
You would obey.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
at
yeah.
that side, that point, there was no chaos.
Yeah.
I didn't see chaos when I was entering, but earlier before I got there,
Yes,
we had seen
obviously
videos of that.
pictures
So
and-
that's
yeah,
it. But of
all
course,
that.
when I got there, the police, they had mounted their barricades even before you entered. So before you get in there, you actually would have to show whether you're media, you needed a tag to
Yeah,
enter.
to-
If you didn't have it, truth is, you could actually go through the University of Ghana Sports Directorate and get to the stadium, but you cannot enter. So where the police had its barricade was the main entrance to the stadium. But if you went through the University of Ghana Sports Directorate, you can get in. However, you cannot enter.
So who control the main entrance to the stadium?
The Ghana Police Service.
So the videos I saw, were they to the main entrance or to some other place?
I do not know. What I say is that where I used,
Yeah.
I used the VVP, the
VVIP. Ah,
VVIP.
big man.
Yes, I used that side. And
See why Blessed does what he does. Well, let me go to the news center front page. NPP expands Electoral College in 54 new reforms. Blekusu Coastal Project Phase 2 begins in Ketu South, and Gold Board to roll out traceability in 2026 to formalize small-scale mining, curb illegal trade. This is according to Sami Jemfi.
54 reforms, but I was a bit surprised that the party's posture on the definition of who should be called a youth organizer. You know, that became a very controversial matter. The NPP believes that they should still keep it at 40. Then there's the controversy as to why you're keeping your youth organizer position, the age limit at 40, when by international definitions that's way above board.
Yeah.
So it's one of the reforms that the NPP might want to discuss further amongst themselves.
You know, when it comes to youth, based on where I am, I always find it challenging the definition for youth. For example, if you're looking for certain grants now, youth is defined as someone between 15 to 35.
Yeah.
Right. But in a lot of our endeavors, right, especially in this country, by the time you complete uni, do your national service, do some work to build your fundamentals to be able to participate in these things.
You're almost
You'll be
getting into
hitting
40. Yeah. Right.
And there are lots of people who would want to build something and have something to hold on to before they get into politics or before they get into business. So for our needs and our situation, maybe we need to look at youth, because why should Winston not be able to apply for a certain grant now for his farm because he's almost 40 or over 40? Meanwhile, he's now worked to build the fundamentals, build infrastructure, and he should be able to attract extra funding. But people say youth is 15 to 35.
When I see all the grants, it should be less than 40. I don't qualify. When I see all the grants, I say I don't qualify.
And you see the 15 to you should be in school.
Yes.
Right.
So we need to redefine some of these things, and the state actually must take an interest in some of these things. That if
we're saying
institution ABCD wants to bring some grant into the country, we need to redefine their criteria so that it actually serves and meets our needs, not for people to come and check boxes.
I see.
So this youth conversation must be had.
Yes, definitely. The Economy Times, BOG confirms Ghana's economic rebound ahead of this week's media budget review. So we've seen flyers already going around that on Thursday, probably. I'm certain it should be Thursday. Yes, the finance minister will definitely be laying out his media economic plan. So that's it for the Economy Times.
Now, Winston, let me take you to page 10 of the Daily Graphic. There is a rejoinder on the new national capital story that Daily Graphic carried on May 20. This is by J.W. Wadier, and he says that the president has announced that we are going to build a new capital, and he's recommending that the capital be taken to the Bono East region or to the Eastern region. So in the Bono East region, he's giving an area around Pran or Yeji. He says where the Sene River empties into the Volta Lake. And then if you look at the Eastern region recommendation, he says it should be situated at the confluence of the Pra and Brim rivers near Achimoda, encompassing parts of Eastern Ashanti and Central regions. This conversation has not really been had on the national capital, but I think one of these days we need to have that conversation. If we are going to cite a new administrative hub for the country, where would it be best to put it? to serve the interests of the states. And I thought I needed to highlight this. But still on the... okay.
No, I mean, I think we must have this conversation. Maybe we should also look at whether we can properly decentralize certain organs of the state, of government. So we may not necessarily consider a whole rebuild, but we can decide we are sending certain ministries to certain areas based on their competitive advantage, and hope that will become the central place for the spread effect of development.
Now let's go to page 13 of the Daily Graphic. NPP expands Electoral College. Voters increase from 220,000 to 280,000. Now the story says the vote has effectively expanded the party's Electoral College, adding more than 60,000 polling station executives to the existing 220,000, enlarging the size of the voters to more than 280,000. This means all former members of parliament, former parliamentary candidates, former MMDCs, card-holding former ministers and deputy ministers, as well as former regional, constituency and branch executives will participate in the election of the flag bearer in January 2026. Now, Winston, will this stopped the
vote buying?
Vote buying and related matters?
No.
Oh, but who has money to pay 280,000 people?
Oh, my brother. Oh, my brother.
If you gave each of them 100 cedis, 280,000 people, 100 cedis cry.
You want us to do the math?
Do the candidates have money like that?
Okay, let's do this.
This will stop vote buying.
200 and what?
80,000
80,000.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 80,000 times 100.
Yes.
Okay, that's 28 million.
So the candidates working around, that's 28 million plus the other funds they need to buy fuel, billboards, t-shirts, donations. They do have money?
They do. But of course, they're not going to be paying, for some people, so say for the members of parliament, they don't expect, to be paid monies to vote. For the national executives, you don't expect to give them money to vote for you. However, there are people who would be giving money. And so the thing also is that you wouldn't have the candidate putting in all this money.
Okay.
He has supporters. He has fund donors who would help his campaign. Of course, he would put in a lot of the money. And so that's something that they have, actually. They do.
And I think that's why CSO is also asking for the passage of an election financing law, so that clearly we're able to tell where the money is coming from and where it's going. But there's also an interesting story about President Mahama dissolving the National Cathedral Board. Felix Ofosu-Kwakye has been speaking on that, and he says the decision is based on some audit findings. The Daily Guide has details of that, and I just want to quote portions of what he says, that the audit findings rock the very foundation of the project, of the work for the Secretariat. They raise serious concerns about the use of public funds and cast shadow over the integrity of the entire endeavor, unquote. So the words of the Government Communications Minister, Felix Kwakye.
Let's get to the online news review.
If you go to my Joy Online, Mahama promises fee refund for first-year tertiary students enrolling in September 2025. The FDA is calling for tougher penalties in fight against tramadol abuse. Robbing the future, gold lust killing Ghana's fish, marine life and destroying mangroves. This is also on my Joy Online. And Prof. Kwame Kakari says, you don't manage society with money, you manage it with wisdom. Now, there is a disturbing story here. Nearly 200 Ghanaian students stranded as government owes University of Memphis. Now, let me give you two stories on education. The one on the president promises fee refund for first-year tertiary students. The story says President John Mahama has announced that the government will refund academic fees for all first-year tertiary students enrolling in September 2025. The initiative, part of his administration's commitment to equitable access to education, was reviewed during a major stop on its nationwide thank you tour in Koforidua, Eastern Region. So we are promising to refund fees for first-year students in Ghana. In the US, nearly 200 Ghanaian students are stranded as the government owes the University of Memphis about $3.6 million. The story says that a large number of students who attend the University of Memphis might be forced to return to their home country, Ghana. University of Memphis President Bill Hardgrave joined Action News' 5's Better Memphis show on Wednesday to speak on the status of his students. He said the students are sponsored by the government, which has not paid the students' tuition yet, and the students will have until August 9 to find a way to make the payment, or they would have to vacate the country, according to the Daily Memphian. So we started following up on this scholarship thing. The government promised they will take action. When it comes to those on GNPC scholarship, for example, there are 2 years of what do you call it? Their fees had been paid, right? But their stipends were not paid, but it's been paid now.
Yeah.
But those on the main government of Ghana scholarship program, a lot of them are still stranded. It's been weeks of having this conversation. It's been months of this government coming into office. What really are we doing to help these people?
I mean, we're told that some of those in the UK, for instance, who have been checking with your colleagues in the US, say that the registrar is giving the strongest indication of steps he's been taking to resolve issues. And for now, we're to the tentative date of 30th July has been given. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. We're hoping that this will be done. And our source says he's been in touch with those in the US, and it appears that a promise cuts across that all those who are owed fees will be paid by the 30th of July.
30th of this month.
Yeah.
That's good news. We'll be following up on that to see whether that is done. More stories on my Joy Online. Zuarungu Senior High School closed indefinitely following violent clashes. This story is also on my Joy Online. There's a story that Winston will be very interested in. Treasury bills record first oversubscription in 2 months. The story says that Ghana's Treasury recorded an oversubscription in its primary Treasury bill auction last week as investor demand surged by 97.82% above the government's target for the first time in 2 months. Is this good news?
Well, it is. In the past there were a few challenges because then the rates that government was offering was not the best for many of these investors. But it looks like now, based on happenings in the Ghanaian economy, with the rate of inflation at 13.7%, these rates that are offered by government seem realistic now.
Now, have you also been following some of the conversations online about availability of dollars in the markets?
Exactly. It's part of the things we're talking about today because, once I talked about it, someone sent me a message. I'm not going to be mentioning the banks involved, but he's clearly sent me a message and indicated that, look, was paying for some tile purchase from China, and this bank could not sort me for about 3 weeks, and it was less than $10,000. I was also paying for goods for less than $10,000 through another bank, and it took a week. That one self, it was because I knew somebody inside. So, I mean, I'm not mentioning the banks, but this is just to show you that there's an issue.
Yeah. And our black market friends are still doing brisk business, eh?
They have the dollars.
Yes. I always stop since we had that conversation, I always stop at airport just to engage. And you see them coming with a lot of money.
With the shada material.
Yes.
They always wear the shada material, and it's very big ones.
Oh, but these days they wear jeans and t-shirts.
Oh, really? They wear. But the last one I saw,
they are rebranded.
Oh, the last one I saw was in shada. That was this year, less than 2 months ago. It was in shada. The guy exchange money, like what you see, what the barons do. He exchanged it quick. And that was all. Quickly.
Let me bring you some quick headlines from City Newsroom.
Yes.
Zuarungu Senior High School shut down after violent student clashes. Defense Minister to address Nation and Government Accountability Series today. Importers, exporters accuse Finance Minister of exclusion ahead of mid-year budget review. And Salam Mustafa Hill's NPP's rejection of youth age cap reduction. Mahamat says that he will not disappoint Ghanaians.
Good to know that he wouldn't disappoint Ghanaians.